Russia claims it has stopped a major military offensive by Ukrainian troops in the Donetsk region, a mostly Russian-controlled region of eastern Ukraine. Russia's defense ministry says its forces killed 250 soldiers on Sunday. The ministry released this drone video, which could not be independently verified. It purports to show Russian forces thwarting a large-scale attack by 2 tank battalions and other mechanized units in southern areas of Donetsk. Ukrainian officials, who have said they're ready for a major operation to push back occupying forces, have not commented on the Russian claim. For more on this, I'm joined now by DW's Russia analyst Konstantin Egert. He joins us from Brussels. Konstantin, what do you make of Russia's claims to have stopped a major Ukrainian military offensive?
Well, they should be verified, but anyway, the scope of the attack that was shown does not look to me, again, I'm not a military analyst, as a major offensive, something that qualifies as a major offensive. And frankly speaking, in the current, fog of war, propaganda war that we see, I would be very cautious before claiming that this is true. I think we should look more at that, but frankly, I do not think we had any information before, any signs that really the Ukrainians are going to launch offensive in this area in the Donetsk region.
Konstantin, stay with us while we take a look at signs that the counteroffensive may not be limited to Ukrainian territory. There are reports of pro-Ukrainian groups launching attacks inside Russia.
This footage, released by the pro-Ukraine Freedom of Russia Legion, claims to show their fighters entering a town in Russia's Belgorod region. Along with the Russian Volunteer Corps, they've claimed responsibility for a series of attacks inside Russian territory. The groups say they've captured Russian soldiers and will hand them over to Ukrainian authorities. With fighting and shelling now on Russia's side of the border, thousands have fled to Belgorod city from surrounding areas.
Our town Shebekino was bombed very heavily. Almost nothing was left. They're now showing the destruction in Donetsk on TV. That's how it looks in our Shebekino right now. We barely escaped the shelling.
Belgorod's governor is urging people to evacuate the border region. The town of Shebekino has been repeatedly shelled from across the border, while fighting is ongoing in Novaya Tavozhanka. The attacks on Russian soil have drawn the attention of Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the Russian mercenary group Wagner and regular critic of the country's military leaders. After his success taking the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, he's threatening to send his fighters to protect Russia.
Why did we take Bakhmut and rename it Artemovsk? Why are tens of thousands of people, our Russian guys, dying, moving towards the west? In order for us to start giving away, step by step, pieces of the Belgorod region, our primordially Russian land?
With the authorities in Belgorod now handing out aid to their own people, Russia's war in Ukraine is increasingly seeping back across the border.
Konstantin, after 15 months of fighting, it appears the war has now arrived on Russia's doorstep. What's the response from Moscow?
Terry, the response so far has been muted, and it looks very much like the Russian government doesn't want to comment a lot on that. Although there are interesting snippets, let us say, that appear on the Russian state television propaganda shows. Now some of the participants are saying, we did not achieve any objectives and we should admit it, and probably we should basically roll it up and finish with this so-called special military operations. I mean, it doesn't mean much, but frankly speaking, I think that the government in Moscow is confused, and they do not want to open, even on these limited propaganda channels, a very big discussion with the society as to what is the future, because definitely the future now does not look the way Putin imagined it even half a year ago.
There was a poll just carried out by an independent Russian firm. It showed that only 1 in 4 Russians say they follow the war closely. Nearly half said they don't follow the conflict at all. Do you think these attacks, Konstantin, will strengthen support for Putin's invasion of Ukraine, or could they actually increase pressure on Putin to end the war because it's now putting Russian civilian lives at stake?
The short answer is no. Because exactly of the poll figures you, Terry, cited, it's the only independent pollster in Russia that remains, the Levada Center, that says it. So we can more or less trust it. Yes, the majority of Russians do not want to know, and this is how Putin wants it. He wants the society to remain indifferent to what goes on in Ukraine. He wants the society to remain indifferent to his war because that allows him to do essentially what he wants. And I think this is also the reason why they keep silent about the events in Belgorod region, for example. So I do not expect any big crowds with, peace now signs appearing at the gates of the Kremlin anytime soon.
Konstantin, thank you very much. As always, DW Russia analyst Konstantin Eggert there from Brussels.
Thank you.